God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Don't have an ordinary Monday. Have a Burger Monday at Beef O'Brady's. Stacked high with fresh Angus and fries, just $5.49 all day. Beef O'Brady's Burger Mondays. Nobody out-beefs beefs. Never mess with another man's sandwich. Like Beef O'Brady's new prime rib sandwich. Pure indulgence on a French baguette. Or Beef's new pulled pork sandwich. Get $5 off at beefobradys.com.
What up, what up? It's your boy Blake Anthony with another session of Overreaction Show right here on Sports Talk 49. You know, things are easier to talk about when it's a win. It seems like people enjoy, I don't know, the controversy, the drama and all that stuff when it's a loss or things like that. But it's a win. And most people are going to come into work and be like,
oh, yeah.
And no matter how it looks, they're going to come in and get the W, how it was. Bucs go down to Lambeau, get the win down there in the frozen tundra. I think it was like the warmest weather, whatever it was, in a while down there. They did have a little bit of rain, but I don't do the cold no more. I can't do that no more. Yeah, those that know me, I moved down here for Philadelphia. I pass on that rain. I don't that cold. I don't want no parts of that no more. And the other part is crazy is that the stigma back in the 90s and everything when the Bucs used to play, Brett Favre and the gang up there in Lambeau Field, they used to say, Florida teams can't, play in the cold, et cetera, et cetera. I said that in the Super Bowl era when they had to go in the second Super Bowl era, when they had to play all the away teams, Washington and going to Green Bay. I said for a lot of Southern players on the roster, they play really well in the cold weather. So I think Tampa kind of broke that, Florida boys can't play in, cold weather because they usually play pretty good. It's surprising as that be, they play pretty good in cold weather. Matter of fact, let's take a look at the box score of that game. Let me get it up here for you, and we'll go down step by step to see what it really looked like. All right, here we go. Y'all can see it, right? And there it is. So we'll go over the box score of this. As you know, Big Baker had a big day, 22 for 28, 381, 4 touchdowns, and the big number on that is 0 interceptions. Was sacked 5 times for 28 yards. Kenny Clark, a guy that you've seen with Caleb and I on the Players Podcast, he had 2 sacks that game. Packers had 5 sacks for 28 yards. Jordan Love went 29 for 39, 284, and 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 2 times for 23 yards. Rashad White had a lot of carries in the game, 21 carries for 89 yards. That big one at the end that closed. We'll talk about that later when we talk about film and things like that. You'll also hear from Ray Kennedy possibly and Sedor. Always they call in to give their points of view. That was pretty much it in the run game. Chase Edmonds came in. Tompkins had a reverse, and Bayfield tried to scramble. Aaron Jones did get hot for the Packers really early in the game. 13 carries for 53 yards coming off an injury. He had like a big gain earlier. It looks like a 20-yard run. And that was pretty much it after that. Patrick Taylor touched the ball, then Jordan Love, Scrandall, and Kenyon Drake. Nobody else really touched the ball that much. So Bowles, again, holding another team under 100 yards of rushing, which the Packers totaled of 60, hence the 39 pass attempts. Now, the big story was Godwin getting really engaged in this game. 10 receptions, 155, averaging 15.5 yards of reception. No touchdowns, though, but it was 12 targets. But he had 10 receptions. David Moore, 2 receptions, 68 yards, the one big one for 52 yards and a touchdown. He caught 2 balls and was targeted 2 times. Hey, man, can't argue with that. 2 for 2. Big Mike, 4 for 57, 1 TD. We'll talk about that in the film session with Baker making some great throws in that game. And then Rashad White showing up on both ends of the ball, both ends of the spectrum, both passing and running. 2 receptions, 50 yards, averaging 25 yards a reception, the big one for 26 yards, and a receiving touchdown. So my man didn't get an end zone on the ground, but he got one in the air. Cade Otton coming up big. When I look back at this game with Cade Otton, man, he's making some decent blocks. He's not an overpowering, powerful tight end, but he makes decent cut blocks when he's got a block backside for the back coming across on a run. Just little things that he's doing to help this team, run the ball, and that's pretty much what they got to do at this point because earlier this season, the running game was abysmal, and it didn't exist unless you were playing Madden. Cole Keith got a receiving touchdown. He was targeted 1 time and 1 catch for a touchdown. Defense, Antoine Winfield led the team with 10 total tackles. Levante right under him with 9. He had a sack himself, 2 tackles for loss. KJ Britt played well again. Anthony Nelson had a sack. Shaquille Barrett had a sack. They didn't get any interceptions this game, but the defense is still showing up, still finding ways to complement the offense. And they ended up getting a win. They could have put more points up, but they ended up kneeling it out at the end where Rashad had that big run at the end of the game to kind of seal the deal. Again, we'll talk about that in the film session later. All right, let's put this down. Take this off of here. All right, yep. So, as I said, Sedor, as always, every week sends in a video of his perspective of the game. And we'll kind of chat about that, and then I'll kind of bounce off of what he's got to say. I didn't watch it because I want to give a fair reaction to what he's going to say. So we'll watch it together. Let's see what's going on.
Having me, man. Let's talk about versus the pack. Baker Mayfield, probably the best game he's had. I mean, arguably since he's been in the NFL, definitely his best game as a Buccaneer. Offense was really clicking, looked really good. One issue I had with Mayfield was the fumble in which he held the ball for like 4.7 seconds. You can't expect your offensive line to be able to hold up that long. But other than that, I mean, you can't really take much away from what Baker had accomplished. Spread the ball out quite well. Chris Godwin in the slot, 10 catches, 155 yards. Evans, 4 catches, 51 yards, and a TD. Otton got involved in the game. Cole Keith had a touchdown as well. It was a 2-yard gain, but hey, made up for week 1, I guess. Again, we have the Devin White situation looming. I don't even know how to react to that. It's been such a unprecedented fall from grace, really. You got a guy going into his contract season and just I don't know if he believes his own hype or if he thinks he's better than what he is or what the situation is, but he's rubbing someone wrong in the locker room, whether it be the coaching staff, whether it be the players, something's going on there for him to be a healthy scratch. Let's talk about who I think has been overlooked quite a bit, and that's Rashad White. I was all on board when they brought him into Tampa. I kept telling him to keep watching this kid. He's great out of the backfield as a receiver, and now he's proven that he can tote the rock. He was 15 yards away, I believe, from another 11 yards away from another 100-yard game, which he easily could have had last drive of the game when he goes down at the 15-yard line to ice the clock and ice the game away. So you got to give him a lot of kudos for knowing this game situation, what was going on, and how well he's been playing lately. I think I saw he's been the only back in Tampa Bay history since Warwick Dunn to go for over 1,000 all-purpose yards in his first 2 seasons with the team, and that's honestly quite an accomplishment. Again, you can't say enough about KJ Britt defensively. He's really making the decision for Todd Bowles quite easy. And the only negative I could really say about the defensive side of the ball, other than giving up a couple points, everyone is so down on the defense giving up a couple points, and it's like you've said it all along. You keep them under the average, under the league minimum or a league average, you're you should win games as long as your offense goes a little bit above the league average. You should be in good a situation. But Joe Tryon-Shoyinka is yet again just someone who just can't get it done. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know why they keep throwing him out there when you see the success and the maturity very, very quickly maturing Yaya Diaby coming off the edge. So, all right, well, we've got one more game ahead of us. We can only take them one game at a time. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars coming in. Hopefully the Bucs are healthy enough to win this game. You do have Trevor Lawrence going into concussion protocol, so I don't know. Let's look forward to that one. Go Bucs.
Sedor, as always, giving out great perspectives of what he thought in the game. I thought he was going to kind of bring the Devin White situation up. I didn't kind of want to touch on it until I heard him from it. We'll talk about that later. But let's start with some of the things he had. Yeah, Baker held the ball. It just seems to be a trend for him. Early in the game, he turns over the ball. It's like he's got to get in the mode early. So Canales has got to figure out a way to eliminate those early turnovers because it'll end up biting you in the ass later on. Defense had a great fourth down stop to only give it right back to him to get the points that they were hoping to get. So you kind of wavered out what the defense did for you. Like I said all year, you can say whatever you want about giving up yards. If they're not scoring points, it don't mean a damn thing. If you can hold a team in the teens in today's NFL, you can hold a team in the teens, you should win the game if your offense can score over that. But that hasn't been the case. But like I said on social media, you score over the average and hold the team under the average, you should win the game. Unless you're doing something stupid in the game, creating turnovers, and that's a whole nother conversation in itself. But I've said it since week one. Like I said, I ain't the smartest person in the world, but women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. So the Devin White thing, man, like what? I don't know how many times I got to tell you. I don't know how many times I got to have players on here tell you. I don't know how many times I got to tell you. Media spins things to get you guys to bite on stuff. And you guys bite it hook, line, and sinker every damn time. You have not heard Todd Bowles say he was sitting out because he was benched. You never heard Devin White say he sat out because he was benched or whatever. So people got to fill in gaps, and then you kind of run with that story. But, when it comes back and it says that, everybody's going to say, well, I never said that. But you speculated it. Or did you speculate it? I don't know if Devin was good to go, but he was still kind of banged up. Or you said, well, I'd rather play 100% KJ Britt than a 75, 60, whatever percent Devin White. That could have been the situation. You don't know because Bowles is not going to. That's what I think I like about Bowles. He don't buy into the media BS. Arians was into that, but Bowles is not. He's focusing on winning games and playing good defense. But you never heard either one of those guys say anything. And I know people are talking about Devin's cryptic message. He said, you never asked the source. You never asked Devin. I said, but everybody comes up with these spins in the stories because that's what sells. You all know that. You say that constantly about media, but here you are faced with another situation on Devin White. It's a contract here. Let me tell you this. And when it's time for you to get paid, I said this. I think I said something about this last week. I said it was about injuries. It seems to be the formula when a guy wants to get paid, then suddenly they're a villain and everything to do. But those years 1 through 4, you was sending little Billy and Johnny to get autographs and take photos from the same man that you're talking crap about. Smiling in this man's face, putting all this stuff on there about he's going to be a great player, et cetera. Whatever it be, whatever he's not playing up to, they don't blitz him as much as they used to. There was a lot of things that the Bucs did with Devin earlier in his career versus what they're doing now. Granted, people left because they won a Super Bowl. Things changed a little bit, so you can't do everything the same. That's the nature of this business. And you guys rant and rave about watching football for 25 plus years. This should be routine to you. I shouldn't have to explain this to you. But again, it feels like I do because either you watch football and don't know football, or you know football and you just watch football. I don't know. But be that as may, this is part of the game. Anybody that goes to get paid, there's always a negative light on these guys that want to get paid. Now, whether or not whatever that number is, I can't argue that. I'm not Devin's agent. I'm not Jason Light. And the financials, department to work out what he's worth versus what the market is. And like I said, I've had Ron on here explain to you guys how the market works. I can't help stress the amount of education I've applied to you guys to listen to how things work in this league. It's your choice now whether you want to listen to it. So that's why I kind of go on. I get off on fans and stuff like that, because when you're given solid information, unbiased, I have nobody to tell me what I need, what I can and can't say and do. But other agencies do. They have to give a narrative. They have to do what sells. So which one do you want to believe? Is it the one that sounds better, that you have a narrative that you want to sell, or something that's actually the truth? But that's humans. Your opinion and your loyalty waver what's convenient for you. It's been said that since the Bible. But that's what it is. See if Devin comes out and plays next week, then you look pretty stupid for all the stuff that you said last week. You look stupid because you didn't hear any of that come from anybody. I'm not just talking about you, Sedor. I'm just talking about the situation in itself, period. You never heard Bowles say that. You never heard Devin White say that. Nobody's asked Devin anything. So that may be the situation, that he was, banged up, not 100%. KJ Britt's been playing well, and they decided to go with a fully healthy KJ Britt versus a 75% Devin White. That could have been the situation. I wouldn't say it's a healthy scratch. He's 100%. Nobody's 100% in December. A lot of guys banged up. Vea's banged up. It's just the nature of the beast. Now, that's off my Devin White and contract rant. Let's talk about Rashad White. Let's say I got that in the this film session as well. I'll say this first before I say anything else. You are damn lucky that this man has been able to stay healthy for 15, 14 weeks, because there is no running back behind him. I just want y'all to realize that. There is no help behind him. Chase Edmonds, and that's it. And I don't even know if you want to count that as a full running back. So the Bucs do got to look at some type of running back situation coming into the offseason next year. And there's a few guys that I like. But the guy has been stellar. That's why I got to stay out of some groups, because I just see such uneducated things said in there. He didn't get a whole lot of touches his first year behind Lenny. And then coming to this year, he has almost identical numbers to Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey had just over 1,089 rushing yards and had 800 receiving yards. Rashad White's damn near on pace to match that. I don't know if he's going to reach the receiving yards, but he's damn sure going to reach the rushing one with 3 games left. And I think, and I'm not saying putting them in the same class, I'm just talking about the workload of what he's doing in there on pass blocking downs. He's been able to do it all. And I think the struggles at the beginning of the year, somebody had put a report out that Rashad White couldn't run at the heavier weight. That's why he had a lot of struggles. He looked sluggish. And he said, I can't run it this way. And it happens. If you've ever ran track or done any of the things, you know what you can and can't run at, or what you feel agile, elusive at, if you're not used to running 15 pounds heavier your entire life. Now you're asked to do that on the biggest stage of that kind of career, football career or whatever career it is, and do the same things that you've done prior to getting to where you're at. You were drafted because you were 205 running that way. Now you want me to run at 215, 220, 225, and I feel sluggish and slow. I haven't ran at that. You didn't hire me running at that weight. But they tried it. It didn't work. Now he's back, and the proof is in the pudding. That's where it's kind of at. So big. You need to give a lot of props to Rashad White for what he's done so henceforth in his second year in the league. Just remember the situation when it comes later, when it's time to get paid. Don't try to bash this man for basically staying healthy the entire year with nobody else behind the man. Like I'm telling you, if he goes out, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. That's going to really limit the offense, and you got to force Baker Mayfield to throw 40 times a game, which that's not what you want to do. So I can now supposed to run the ball and emphasize running the ball so much, because it takes pressure off of Baker being able to run the ball and everything. And you're going to hear from Ray Kennedy here in a second when he's all set up. Just let me know with a thumbs up, Ray, when you're ready to rock and roll. We talked about Devin White, his contract situation, and the healthy or we don't know healthy scratch. And we talked about, I was just talking about Rashad White being the only back there. And if he goes down, the Tampa Bay offense is in serious trouble because there is no running backs behind him. Let's go ahead and bring Ray on. Ray,
What's
how you
up?
doing?
Blake,
What's going on?
brother. I'm good. How you doing?
Good, man. Good, man. Glad to have you.
Oh, glad to be here. Talking about you and I have been on the same page pretty much all this season, and it was the lack of the offensive production that was putting a strain on that defense. The defense has shown this at times. We've had C.J. Stroud, and we've had some of the they've had success against us. Most of those successes, though, have come in the second half after the offenses, earlier in the season, they were a little bit thin. They were still trying to learn that offense. And, of course, I think what we saw this last Sunday in Green Bay was a culmination of what happens when you get both sides and all your facets of your team on the same page.
No, absolutely. And that's what it looked like. Both complemented each other in this game. Only thing that still remains kind of current is Baker's turning over the ball early in games. He didn't throw a pick, but he fumbled the ball. So, like I said, also got to figure out a way to kind of get him in rhythm early or try to keep him from turning the ball because he's had a propensity to turn over these ball early in games and kind of set themselves back. I said the defense, again, made a great stop in the goal line on 4th down to only give it right back to them to give the touchdown that they wanted earlier. But otherwise than that, he was spot on. I was going to break that down in the field session I was going to bring up later. But he made some great throws, and I hope that continues. What's your thoughts on the Devin White and the Rashad White situation?
Well, the thing about the Rashad White thing is we knew that he coming from Arizona State. We knew that was that guy. That was his thing, is the offensive receiving out of the backfield and what they were doing. And even though at the time it was like, well, that's not really a no risk it, no biscuit type of a move. But I think that Jason Light realized that there was going to be, we know Dave Canales when we drafted White, but I think we realized that having a back out of the backfield that can receive the way he does, has the size that he does. And now that he's starting to get used to the way this offensive line is blocking, not only for him and Baker both, though I think that success is coming through for both of them. I think that's what the Jason Light had in mind. But as far as the Devin White thing goes, Blake, because we've been talking about this forever, just Devin White, and I'm already working on my second contract, and I always knew that kid would ball, but we've seen a fall off in production in the last year, well, this season anyway, as far as could be injuries, could be slowing him down. There's a lot of things the cat can't share because his camp is telling him, look, keep it under wraps. We got a paycheck coming, but to see him. A defensive captain, a captain of the team who's selected as a defensive captain for a reason. He seems like he's been a good soldier.
So, Ray, your audio went out. Your mic. But yeah. What I said while you're fixing your audio, what I said about the Devin situation is what Devin put up a cryptic message on IG or wherever it's at. Talking about you ask everybody and made a story or whatever it is, but you never asked him. You never asked him inside the story. Was it actually a healthy scratch? Was he actually benched? What was the actual situation? And then Tampa media does what it does. It runs with a story because it sells. A lot of negativity is put around this Tampa media and these people that cover this team because that's what sells. You guys overreact to a lot of things, and they play on that. They play on your emotions a lot. So you're just looking at the situation, see what it is. Selling the bowls thing, selling whatever story they sell. That's what they sell to you. And that's just the nature of beast in that business. That's why I do not want to be held down by an agency that forces you to push narratives like that just to sell a story to you guys. Hence, that's why I talk to so many players. There's connections in doing that. But Ray will bounce back here in a minute. I know he's always on the move. Ray got his own show, Cup of Ray. He's always on Peter Blake's show. The Sports Web, and he's everywhere with Harry and everybody, covering the team. And everybody's got the perspectives of what it is. But Like I said, all season long, everything I've said has been 100% accurate. Like I said, I'll be happy to debate whatever topic it is. I've been pretty spot on, but pretty everything I said about this year. But let's jump into it. I'm not sure where Ray is. If it is, we'll jump out and then we'll jump back in. But we'll talk about, a film session here a little bit. So we'll jump into it. Let's check out the film. All right, let's break this down here. Let me take myself out there. You don't need to see me. So we'll break this down here. This is a throw here. They're in a 3-by-1. They're very successful in the 3-by-1. Mike is on the single side. Safety shades towards Mike. And the part here that I like is that Baker actually goes through the reads like we've talked about for weeks, where he gets kind of locked in on one guy because he wants to get the ball out of his hand so fast. But check his head here. He's looking at the three side. Checks there. The look's not what he wants. Checks back. He sees White about to break out from the linebacker off the jam. Bam. Throws the ball right in that tight window, and Rashad White kind of does the rest. Great play by both. Great catch. Great throw. I believe this is the touchdown pass here. Yeah, this is a touchdown pass here to Mike Evans. And I can't say enough about Palmer and his speed. See, right now, this situation, if you're Baker Mayfield and you got that deep over route and that safety doesn't move on the backside, it's going to be a touchdown. But I think Baker already knew if that safety's kind of slid in the middle of the field, he was going to hit Mike. There's multiple things that goes through your head when you're looking at coverages versus pre-snap to post-snap. See, post-snap, the guys on the right side don't move. So immediately you have Palmer, or you can go to Mike. Mike gives a kind of a stab inside to keep inside leverage on the ball. Baker Mayfield sees that and just kind of drops the bucket, dropped the ball right in the bucket. And, Palmer's all wide open on the backside because that's what I was telling you about the safety not being there. And you can physically see, Palmer's excited. I know he probably would have liked the ball, but he's excited. It's a touchdown pass in a critical game that they're trying to get back to 500. And that is. Like I said, the guys had opportunities to make big plays in this game. They just haven't linked. And I just hope to see that later on these coming weeks and possibly the playoffs if they earn a spot. This play here, I believe it's to Rashad again out the backfield. You had the flat route. The defender looks to cover. It's a great scheme here. So now I see when I look at it in slow motion. So Tompkins comes out in the flat to get the defender to come flat to free up the back, right up the hashes. And in doing that, the guy is a fish out of water. He realizes that the flats was bait and the back went right by him. But at that point, it's too late. Baker's able to drop the ball to White in open space. You got to actually hit Otten as well if he wanted to. But goes to White. White makes a man miss, and it's a touchdown. Like I said, Canales has been making great play calls all game. And all year long, it's just the receivers and the quarterback just haven't been able to link, or you're not giving enough time, or whatever it is. It just hasn't all matched up at one time. But finally, they were able to. Let's go back to it. There you go. They're celebrating. Here it is in another facet. Or is this the same play? No, this is the same one. So like I said, look at 25. His eyes are immediately on the back. Look at his movement to the side. It looks like it's going to be like a flare route. Gets him to go outside. That's exactly what he wanted. Now White turns right up inside. It's too late. Otten picks off the linebacker from getting to. Like there's a lot of facets to this game. That's what I mean. When everybody does their job collectively, things work. You got the pick route by Otten down here to free up White. You had Tompkins go outside selling that the ball was coming out there. Baker looking like the ball is going to go out there. So you got the defender to move that you wanted to move. And bam, you threw it right in the window. Like he could have went to Otten too. He could have if he wanted to. But Rashad makes a great catch with hands like a wideout, and it's a touchdown. And last but definitely not least, let's check out the run to actually finish the game here. There's three guys that make this play. Hainsey holds his guy up. The rookie Cody Mock comes there. He comes and chips down on the guy holding up the B gap, and then goes up to the next level to free up the running lane. Right tackle Gadecki gets a nice jump off and is able to almost get his hat across. That's why I said Mock kind of finished it off. He's good. Goes up to the linebacker. Rashad White this is what you call setting up your blocks. He was never. I don't think he was ever going to go outside, but it was just setting up your blocks. And great block by Cole Keefe, as you can see right there, giving a nice impact block to the defender. Rashad makes that step. He's already looking in the lane, and there it is. Break the arm tackle, and you're out. You're off to the races. And if he would have scored, he would have gotten his 100 yards. If he really would have scored there, he would have gotten 100 yards rushing. But that's what everybody does their part. That's how things look. It just doesn't happen by one guy just doing everything. Everybody has to do their part. And this kind of reminds me of the situation with Tom Brady, where he didn't actually get a full grip on the entirety of the offense till the Chiefs game at home when they lost. And they kind of got hot after that. And it kind of seems like what things are right here. So we'll see if this transitions into next week, because the Bucs get to play at home, 4 o'clock in Raymond James Stadium. We'll see what happens. We'll see if this continues. Everybody's, kind of sold on Baker right now. We'll see. I get worried about guys like him, because when you keep after fighting for your job, you look at things a little bit different. But then when you hand somebody the keys and there's expectations, things kind of change. The perspectives kind of change. I think you still go get a quarterback. You get a running back, another running back to help, spell Rashad White. And that's just what I think they're at right now. They play really well. Baker gets a perfect passer rating. And Todd Bowles' defense still playing lights out, top 10 defense. They can give up yards, but you ain't giving up points. Doesn't matter. But that's just what it is. We'll end this as we always do. We'll see you guys next time. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it, is entirely up to you. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Sedor. Thank you, everybody that jumps on here. And if you're anybody else that has an opinion after the game, by all means, hit me on social media, BlakeAnthony49, any of the links at the bottom. And I'll play it. And we'll talk about what you think about the game, what you think about a situation, what you think about whatever. And we'll talk about it. See you guys next time. And as always, fire those cannons.